Hey, and welcome to the Meditations and Musings podcast. I'm Elena Lipson. I'm a mama, I'm a wife, and I'm the founder of the Divine Self-Care Circle membership and the Virtual Retreat Academy. I don't believe that you have to sacrifice your body, your health, or your family in order to create true abundance and prosperity. I believe in living based on the divine feminine metrics of success, and these include pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. Each week, I'll bring you 1 to 2 new episodes. One of these will be a guided meditation that you don't have to do on the meditation pillow, and the other will be a conversation to help you access your inner wisdom, to ignite abundance, and inspire others to do the same. I invite you to join me on this journey back to the magic of a divinely aligned and well cared for you. And now, join me for today's episode. Hello, and welcome back to the Divine Self-Care Meditations and Musings podcast. I am so thrilled to have you here. I want to say thank you for everyone who has sent messages and reviews around the last 3 episodes that I shared with you, which was a series. It was a 3-part series called The Homeschooling and Entrepreneurship Journey, where I shared essentially our personal journey with our son, who is now in middle school. We decided a year ago to dive head first, feet first, body and soul first, into the homeschooling journey and how this all unfolded in terms of me being an entrepreneur, running a business, and then partnering in a second business. Oops, sorry for that little ding. And then also in terms of being married and how we balance all that out. My husband works, he's got a schedule. My son is a middle schooler with lots of opinions and interests. And so it's for sure been a journey. And in my 3-part series, I shared the before, during, and after journey. And so even if you're not homeschooling, and even if you're not an entrepreneur, there's so much wisdom that came out of that reflection for me. And also, if you're someone who tends to do things that aren't, I would say, the norm, right? Like get the 9 to 5, never make any waves, never do anything that your family disagrees with. If you're someone who tends to do things outside of the box, then I really encourage you to go back and listen to episode 45, 46, and 47, because I share not only our journey and what our decision-making process was and how we balanced out our marriage and our life and my motherhood and all that kind of stuff, but also the biggest lesson and the biggest growth that I had coming out of this homeschooling decision is essentially to really own and claim my voice again, because I feel like that's so much of my journey, that's so much of my mission here on this earth, is to inspire you to really deepen your connection with your voice. And your voice, not just the actual voice, which it actually is part of it, your actual voice coming out of your mouth, to really claim the strength in that when you're asking for what you need and what you want, but also in terms of claiming your decisions and claiming doing things that don't necessarily align with the people around you at all times. And that puts you on the outside. It puts you sort of in this place to defend your choices. And that place of defensiveness is not power. It's a place of insecurity. So I explain why. And I really encourage you, if you are dealing with family members or friends who don't agree with decisions that you make, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to those 3 episodes, because I dive into specifically how I dealt with that, but also why we tend to get defensive. And it's not what you might think. It's not about claiming like, oh, this is what I really think, and then proving it. In fact, I think the more you try to prove it, the more insecure you are in your own decision-making process. And I go into why. So if you're like, Lena, what are you talking about? I guarantee you there's part of your heart and soul that's like, oh, maybe, yeah, I guess I'm a little insecure. I'm not 100% grounded in this decision. And to be honest, those big decisions, you're never 100% clear, because you don't know the future, and the future is always this missing link, and you don't know how it's going to turn out. And especially as parents, oh my goodness, I mean, how many things do we do to our kids, around our kids, for our kids, where we just don't know if it's the right thing. And honestly, you won't know until a lot later, because you just don't have all the answers. I don't either. But when your kids are, happily grounded, unique, wonderful adults, then they'll look back and say, that was an awesome decision, Mom. Thanks for doing that. But until then, it's this question mark. It's forever doubting. So as long as you're insecure and doubting to the point of having to defend yourself, I'm telling you that there's a place that you can get to of trusting yourself, trusting the path, and even trusting your child to make decisions in the now based on what you know, based on all of the information that you have, and most importantly, based on your intuition. Your intuition is this compilation of all the things you've ever done, thought, said, learned, experienced, and there's high value in that. I mean, consultants who have had a lifetime of experience or just years of experience get paid big bucks to come in and share their intuitive perspective. And it's not always about gathering more information. It's about clearing out the information from other people and really allowing yourself to tune into what you want. So, and that is what those last 3 episodes were about. And today we're taking that feeling of groundedness, that feeling of what is it that I want, and allowing you to have that conversation. We're going to take it forward. So today we're talking about creating your dream calendar. Now, creating your dream calendar is one of the 3 pillars that I teach in the Divine Self-Care Circle. It's the very first topic that we dive into because this Divine Self-Care Circle is all about becoming your number 1 asset in life, business, and the bedroom. And I would say especially the bedroom, because as a woman, it's a whole other episode. We're definitely going to dive into that. But I would say there's so much empowerment that happens when you claim dominion over your body and your desires. And again, we're going to get into that a lot more. But today we're going to focus on the big picture. So the reason that the Dream Calendar is not only a standalone workshop that I teach twice a year, it's also the first pillar of creating a divine self-care lifestyle where you are the number 1 asset and priority in your life, business, and the bedroom. Because if you're not teaching the world around you how to treat you, then they're going to treat you based on where you fit into their priorities. And that's usually not anywhere near the top. So in order to claim your desires, in order to claim your worthiness, it's very important to think through and to answer these really important questions for yourself, which I'm going to help you walk through today in terms of creating your day, week, month, quarter, and year based on the experiences that you want to have in your life, in your work, and in your family. And so we're going to dive into a little meditation where I'm going to take you a year forward to help you visualize what you want. But first, before we dive into that, and I have some specific questions that I want you to write down in your journal and answer them. I know you'll get some ideas now, but it's so important to go back and reflect. And then you can go back and do that meditation as many times as you want that I'm going to walk you through. But before we go there, I wanted to also quickly remind you of our sponsor for the Divine Self-Care Meditations and Musings podcast show. And it is my course. So yes, I'm my own sponsor, which means I'm not beholden to anyone else's rules or scripts or anything like that. But I want to share with you the 66 sacred rituals because it is really, it's like it's become this really beautiful container for how I start my day, how I live my day, and how I end my day. And I've heard the same thing from the hundreds of women who have taken this course. It's funny, I haven't had any men take it yet. Not surprised. I mostly talk with women, but it'd be really fascinating to share this with a man in your life if you do get the 66 sacred rituals, because I'd love to hear their perception of it. Now, my husband and my son definitely are exposed to it. and I've practiced many of the rituals with my son to help him get grounded, to help him sort of relieve, stress in moments where he might be having a difficult time. So they're definitely being used in men's lives, but I haven't had any men specifically go through the program. So what is the 66 sacred rituals? It is an audio journey where every day for 66 days, I send you or you have access to in our little portal for the 66 sacred rituals. You get an email notification, you follow the link, and you head over to this portal where you have private access each day to a new ritual. And each ritual is an audio recording where I walk you through a specific sacred ritual. Now, some of the rituals are based in teachings that I've learned from my mentors in yoga, in spirituality, even in the business and coaching world. And some of the rituals are ones that I've created in my own life through just loving the process of ritual and ceremony. Now, rituals are this beautiful foundational activity that brings meaning, that brings access to intuition, that brings connection to nature, to your energetic body. And there, you don't have to be religious. You don't have to know yoga. You don't have to know any of that stuff to practice these rituals. The beautiful thing about rituals that I adore is that those days where you're just feeling off, you're feeling disconnected, you're just in your head too much. What the rituals do is they help you come back to the present moment and to really remember your own inner worthiness, your own inner intuition. And so it's really a way to come back to yourself, which is where you're supposed to be. Why would you want to be anywhere else? So 66 sacred rituals. And of course, as a listener of the podcast, you get a $10 off coupon, which then brings your price for the course down to $55, which is amazing. And all you have to do to experience one of my rituals and to go ahead and use this coupon code is head on over to elenalipson.com/gift. elenalipson.com/gift. There's also a link to it in the show notes, so you can go ahead and check out there. Okay, so let's dive into the dream calendar. So before we dive in, I want to just give you a little background and a few questions, a few journal prompts that will help you to start to create your dream calendar. And again, if you are someone who's interested in taking this deeper, I'll be sharing in the next couple of weeks the waitlist link, which is also in the show notes, of how to get on the waitlist for my Divine Self-Care Circle, which will be opening again. We are now in our 4th year. It's an international circle of women who are coming together to learn and to support each other, to really connect in becoming the top priority in your life, business, and the bedroom. And we focus on a topic a month. We have group calls. It's really a beautiful community. I have had women there who have been there from the very first year. And then, of course, new women who come in every year as well. So beautiful, deep community, and we're growing, and we are really, it's kind of an intimate circle and also one that's growing internationally. So there's a lot of beautiful voices there. So in the Divine Self-Care Circle, when we first get started, I ask these questions, and I'd love for you to do the same. So if you haven't grabbed your pen or your journal yet, I invite you to do that. If you're driving, you can always just note when I'm speaking and just note the time and come back to this time as well. And I really invite you to do this because we always want to do these things. I'm like, oh, I'll get to it later. We never do. But this is something that you really don't want to miss because this is about your life, your needs, and getting you back on the calendar. So the first question I want you to ask in terms of creating your dream calendar is, what do I want to experience in the coming year? What do I want to experience in the coming year? So the way I invite you to answer this question is not so much specific like bullet points, but I want you to start with the prompts. I want more of, and I want less of. I want more of and less of. And do this for like, set the timer for a good 5 or 10 minutes and just write. I want more of, I want less of. And you don't have to do it in order. You can just start with more of and then do less of. And the reason I say this, more of and less of, is because it activates a different part of your brain. It's not about how much money you want to make. It's not about a specific thing you want in your life. But when you say, I want more of something, it means that you're taking the time to reflect on what you are actually enjoying in your life, right? So maybe it's something that you have done before. Like for me, I know I want more family travel experiences because as a coach and a speaker, I do travel quite a bit, and I get to do these wonderful retreats in places like Costa Rica and Tulum, Mexico, and California, and so on and so forth. But I haven't traveled as much with my family. And so I felt a little guilt over that for sure, and a little sadness because I really, like, when I see monkeys in Costa Rica, I wish my son and my husband were there with me to experience this, and the jungles and the water. But that's kind of part of the deal that I made in terms of growing my business. And my husband is so supportive and he totally gets it. And when I think of the year ahead, I think I want more travel experiences with my husband. So we've had these conversations and I can share more about that later. But when I think of what I want more of, I want more travel with my family. I want more playtime. I want more small retreat experiences. So you can take it with, like, you can categorize it in life, business, and the bedroom. So I want more of, what do you want more of in your life? What do you want more of in your business or your work? What do you want more of in your bedroom? Right? I mean, come on. Who stops to think about that? I do. And I invite my clients to do the same. If you don't stop and think about what you want more of or less of in your bedroom, you're going to sort of get what you get, right? But I want you to be mindful about it because you are a woman and you are sensual and you are beautiful and you are worthy of pleasure. And pleasure, of course, is one of my divine feminine metrics of success. So if you haven't experienced a lot of pleasure lately, maybe that's something you put on your list. I want more pleasure in my life. And we're not going to break it down just yet. We're just going to sort of do big picture thinking right now, right? And so in the same vein, I want you to think about what do I want less of? What do I want less of? And that could be stress. That could be overworking. That could be worry. That could be less busyness. It could be less time in doing things that you feel obligated to do. Right? Really take your time with this. What do you want more of? What do you want less of? If you just do this exercise, you give yourself a good 10 minutes or more to do this, I guarantee you're going to start noticing what you've been tolerating, which leads me to the next question. The next question is, what have I been tolerating? What have I been tolerating? And these are the exact questions that I go through my ladies with when we do the Dream Calendar workshop, which I will have another one coming up pretty soon. So maybe I'll share the link in the next couple of episodes here. But if you are not on my mailing list, that's where you'll find out, where I actually do this live workshop where we go through these questions. So the second question is, what have I been tolerating? Now, this is a crucial question for women because so many women that I see and have worked with over the last 18 years live in the state of obligation. Obligation meaning I really need to do this. I should do this. They're going to think I'm not nice if I say no, if I really want to do this, but not now. And how can I say no? And so we're living in the state of pleasing other people at our own sacrifice. Now, this is different from volunteering your time because it feels so good to you. This is different from helping out a friend because you're doing it open-heartedly. This is different from saying yes to something and saying no to something else, even though you had to switch your schedule around because it felt right to you. What I see more often than that is women who are saying yes so quickly that they end up with this overflowing schedule of things for other people and not enough things for yourself. Now, this might seem counterintuitive because, of course, we're here to help people. Of course, we're here to build community. But I'll tell you what, I don't want my friend telling me, yes, they can do something if they're really not feeling it, because it's going to build up resentment. It's going to build up this feeling of like, oh, I'm not going to answer that call next time, right? So I want to know that your yes is an honest yes. And I want you to know the same from me. If I'm saying yes to doing something for you, it's because I truly have the space and capacity to do it. And I really want to do it. But the benefit of putting you first is that you are filling your well first. Because giving to others when you have nothing to give is like driving on an empty gas tank where the light is blinking, 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 telling you you're going to run out of gas. And you're like, just one more mile, I'll get there. And all of a sudden you're like, you're done, right? Your car stops, there's nowhere to go. And now you have to go, you're like running on fumes. And now there's this real sort of critical mass point where you need to go and you're like, I really need to go and take a nap. I really like what I see more often is women who are only giving themselves permission to spend the day resting and reading magazines or just relaxing when they're sick. And that is a rhythm and a cycle that feels like socially acceptable, right? You're not going to post on social media, hey, I'm just spending the day in bed because I want to. You'll feel lazy, right? Which is wrong. I mean, if you need to rest, why not spend time resting? What is wrong with that? Like there's this badge of honor for someone who can just, work themselves into the ground and sacrifice themselves. I'll say, let's flip that script. And there's no glory in feeling depleted. None. Okay. So that's the second question. What am I tolerating? And the third question is, what would excite and delight me this coming year? What would excite and delight me this coming year? Now, the sad thing is so many women that I work with actually have a really hard time with this because it's almost like if you write it down on paper, you feel like you have to figure out how it's going to happen. That is not what I'm telling you to do. all I'm asking you to do is to lighten up and dream a little bit. What would excite and delight me? And just let yourself write it. Please don't deny yourself this part. Please don't overwrite this part. What would excite you? Would a trip to Hawaii excite you? And like as soon as you say that, your ego is going to say, but I can't afford that, but we don't have time for that, but I don't have vacation time, blah, 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 right? Or what would excite and delight you? I would be so excited to take a dance class. And then all of a sudden your ego's like, but you don't have time for that. Your kids have gymnastics class and you don't have the money to pay for the class and blah, 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 right? So don't go there. As much as you can, take a deep breath, put on some good music, drink a glass of wine or tea, whatever you want, and just let yourself dream. Because it's in those dreams that we start to find the momentum. We start to find that thing that pulls us forward with joy. Right? So what would excite and delight me? Oh, does that feel so good? So just to quickly review, the first question is, what do I want more of or less of in the coming year? The second question is, what am I tolerating or what have I been tolerating? And the third question is, what would excite and delight me in the coming year? Okay, so that is the left brain questioning part of you. Okay, so now we're going to get into the right brain questioning part of you. And we're going to do this guided visualization where I just invite you to take a deep breath and relax. We're not going to talk too much about it. We're just going to dive right in. So if you're not in a place where you can close your eyes, I invite you to notice the time and come back to this part of the podcast. And just listen along. Let your subconscious do this with you if you're walking or if you're driving. And if you can, find a place where you can just settle in and relax for the next little bit. Nice deep breath. And then let it out, relaxing your body a little bit more. With your next deep in-breath and out-breath, allow your shoulders to relax a little bit more. Allow your eyes to gently close if you haven't closed them already. And just allow the muscles behind your eyes to just melt a little bit more. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and then just fully relax them, melt them into whatever position you find yourself in right now. With your next breath, allow your belly to relax a little bit more. Perhaps you're feeling a little tingling sensation in your skin and your hands. Let that relaxation take over. Allow all the muscles in your pelvis, and your hips and your thighs to just melt a little bit more. Feeling your seat under you, feeling the support under you. There's nothing to try. There's nothing you have to do. Just notice your breath. Just allow yourself to melt into this moment, this beautiful spaciousness, this bubble of presence. Allowing any little knots of worry, fears to just sort of melt. Slide right off like little bubbles of water rolling down your skin, just letting them melt away. Maybe not fully going away, but at least getting softer. Maybe softening the edges of your figuring out those cursed hows and letting the moment just be as it is right now. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Nothing to be, just here. From this place, full presence, soft relaxation. I invite you to imagine in your mind's eye that you've sprouted some wings. Now you're going to unfurl those wings and you're going to just allow those wings to rise above your life so that you're looking down on your own life, kind of like a timeline, with you being the starting point right here, right now. And as you rise above, just get to a place where you can comfortably see the entire year ahead. And each month is a little circle on this timeline. It could be a straight line. You could envision it as a calendar. Perhaps you envision it as a circle. Whatever feels right to you. There's no right. There's no wrong. I want you to just envision and start looking over this calendar, this timeline, your next year. Just stay curious, stay open, stay playful. I want you to fly over the next several months. 1, 2, 3. Just keep going forward. Over the next year, you're flying and you're noticing some pieces over your next year. Perhaps you're noticing things from your summer vacation. Perhaps you're noticing things from your family celebrations. Perhaps you're noticing your next birthday celebration. All the way a year from now, exactly from today. It's the end point of this particular timeline. And just hover over that timeline. You can see probably about a full month or two in advance. You're looking at this day, a year from now. I want you to notice, how are you spending your day? Maybe you can see the whole week or month in advance. What do you have more of or less of in this particular space in your life, in your calendar at this point? I want you to gently land on this day, first thing in the morning. Land gently in the morning of your day a year from now. And for the next few minutes, I want you to go through this day and experience your dream day. What are you doing? Who are you spending time with? What kind of projects are you working on? I'm going to give you some silence, and I want you to spend the next few minutes walking yourself through the day at sunrise. The sun rises. It's time for you to wake up. I want you to walk through your dream morning. Please don't stop yourself with any of the cursed, how is this going to happen? Just really, where do you find yourself? Are you on some beautiful beach? Are you in your dream house? Who are you with? What are you doing? Just spend the next few moments walking through your dream day as if the time was a little bit accelerated, so you're just kind of seeing it as an overview. What do you do when you wake up? And what next? And what next? And what next? Go ahead and walk through your dream day. Who are you spending your time with? What are you working on? What does your day look and feel like? Now I want you to notice what surprises and delights you about this day. Has something in your business life come to fruition? Have you written that book? Have you created that product? Have you taken that trip? Maybe you're on that trip right now. Are you meeting someone really amazing for lunch? forget to surprise and delight yourself. And this is your day. You can pause, rewind, adjust, do whatever you need to do to design this day based on your more of, less of, and what surprises and delights you. Take another few moments and step into that thing, that time, that event, that moment that surprises and delights you. Maybe it's that phone call that finally comes through. Maybe it's that email with that opportunity you've been dreaming of. Take a moment and really see it, feel it, feel it, feel it. Now go ahead and forward to the end of the day. How are you ending your day? Do you have a glass of wine, reflecting on this incredible day? Where are you? Are you sitting on the deck of your beautiful lake house? Are you cozy, snuggled in bed, with a loved one or a good book? Are you writing in your journal, reflecting on this incredible dream day that now reflects your actual life? Take a moment and close the container on the day. Maybe include any nighttime rituals or bath or anything that feels so good to you, and just feel the deliciousness of ending a day in the way you've always wanted to. Okay. Now, I invite you to unfurl those wings again and rise above that timeline. And from this vantage point of seeing your dream day, and don't worry if you couldn't see everything, if you couldn't quite see all the beautiful details in crystal clarity, that's okay. It's a sensation. It's like planting the seeds. And from this place, this vantage point of way above the timeline, I invite you to place your hand on a heart, on your heart, and maybe another on your belly, or put your hands in prayer if that feels good, and just give blessings. Give massive blessings of gratitude for all of the abundance, prosperity, miracles, magic, and opportunities already on their way, already done. Just feel that pulse of gratitude in your heart. Feel the power and the alchemy of gratitude to bring to you that which is already meant for you. As long as you can get out of your own way and release that doubt. From this place way above, I want you to notice if there's any doubt clinging to you, if there's any fear clinging to you, and just release that. Let it alchemize into the universe above you. Let it just poof, rise like a little bubble. And pop, pop, pop. Let it go. There's nothing stopping you from having this dream day, this dream life, this dream calendar, except for your own doubt. So let's release that doubt in a little bubble right now. Up, up, up it goes. Pop. It's that easy. And now fly way back over to your starting point and just feel yourself gently landing on today, in this moment right now, becoming aware of your surroundings. And I want you to feel that sense of excitement. Feel that sense of positive expectation. Because even if 1 or 2 or 3 of those visions from your dream day become your reality, wouldn't that be incredible? Can you wonder what else is possible? If you are pulled forward, if your momentum is pulled by your dreams, by what you want more of, by that which delights and excites you, in a calendar that has less of those things that you've been tolerating, that is the divine self-care path. I invite you to take a nice deep breath and release it with a big sigh. There you go. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And as I invite all of my clients when I'm doing custom guided meditations or hosting workshops or retreats, I want you to grab your journal and just write some reflections. What came to you? What surprised you about your own visualization? Don't let this go. When we access this part of ourselves, this theta, relaxed part of ourselves that dreams and visualizes, we're accessing divine guidance. We're accessing our highest self, giving us clues, leaving breadcrumbs for our next steps. So don't let it go to waste. Go ahead and grab a journal and spend some time writing. Get as much detail as you can about what you envisioned. And if you didn't see things so clearly, take some time to write it out. Some people are more left brain access. Some people are more right brain. So even if you had a little difficulty visualizing, I guarantee you there's still little diamonds in there for you to explore. So write it out. Take some time. Give yourself the gift of dreaming into your dream calendar. And if you want more support with a full-on workshop where we do this, I'll make sure I include a link in our next episode or in the show notes, or you can head over to elenalipson.com. Make sure you get on my email list, and I will be sending out an invitation over the next month or so, because that's where the magic happens. It's so much fun to spend an entire 3 hours dreaming into your future, allowing yourself to really get clear on releasing those obligations and starting to create life on your own terms. So if you enjoyed this process, you can do it as many times as you like. Go ahead and leave me a comment or review. Let me know what you found. I'm so excited to hear what visions my clients have, and I'd love to hear yours as well. You can also take a screenshot of this episode and tag me over on Instagram at Elena_Lipson and let me know what you thought there. Just when you're writing your journal or if you've been listening to the podcast, take a screenshot, tag me, let me know that you're listening. I'd love to hear and see the amazing people out there listening to my words. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have an incredible day and dream. Go ahead and dream a little more. Maybe do the meditation again. You never know what's going to come up. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Have an incredible day. And I will see you on the next episode of Divine Self-Care Meditations and Musings. Take care. Thank you so much for listening and learning about the new Divine Self-Care way of being in your life, business, and the bedroom based on the divine feminine metrics of success, pleasure, play, ease, grace, and a slower pace. If you're ready to bust the myth of overwhelm and tap into an inspired start to each day, I've put together a free video series for you to help you start each day with energy, inspiration, and ignite that inner pilot light which attracts joy, magic, and synchronicity. You can access my 3-step magic morning practice to help you ignite your inner light and attract the abundance that you're craving. Head on over to elenalipson.com/gift. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would so love if you share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, a daughter, and please leave a review. That is how the magic starts to ripple out. Here's wishing you a day full of beauty, magic, and divine self-care. I'll see you next time at the Meditations and Musings podcast.